Hi Ari, I'm here to give you a hand with your soulmate manifesting reading. Ari is a student of the Soulmate course, and most of my students are more than happy for other people to watch their videos, which is really cool because then everybody can learn from them. So basically, this 11 card layout that looks at every situation, every sort of angle on how you can meet your soulmate, when, who is your soulmate, what is a block. And then there's a layout that just looks at the blocks. And the blocks are important to deal with because that's, in your subconscious. It's something you most likely may not be even aware that is there. The subconscious is about 90% of, our feelings, thoughts, and everything that's sort of stirring that we're not really aware of. We're only really aware of 10%. So you can imagine being unaware of all of what's really going on. And then when we want to achieve something, if there's something blocking that for whatever reason, then it's a good idea to deal with it and get rid of it. And this layout will let you know what the block is. And the block can be there for many reasons, but it's always to serve a purpose. So to remove a block, you must find out how it serves you as well. I'm going to talk about that as well. So, having done this work for a long time, I have categorized the blocks into 6 main ones. They kind of intertwine a little bit. They can, but to deal with it just as a one big chunk, it gets too overwhelming. So to divide it up, it's much easier. And then there's like one positive block. So 6 negative blocks and 1 positive. And an example of a negative block is the fear of abandonment, or for example, a lack of self-love, because that's like something negative. But a positive block is when you are so whole and complete and fulfilled within yourself that and then you want to manifest a soulmate, but then you at the same time you're thinking, why would I allow someone now to come in? My life is so perfect, that person could disrupt my harmony. So it's a very positive thing to be whole and complete, but when you want to manifest something new, then maybe you're not ready for the change. So that's a positive block. And in the Soulmate course, you're dealing with the positive block in a totally different way from a negative block. A positive block, you're doing your soulmate list. A soulmate list is when your subconscious will tell you who is your soulmate, basically. It will probably pretty much describe your soulmate for you. And you will write down how your soulmate will make you feel and how much be with someone that you can really trust, for example. You can put that down. If monogamy is important to you, put down that you want your partner to be monogamous. And your soulmate and you are all always linked through a psychic link. So when you're doing this work, if your soulmate is not already those things, your soulmate will start preparing, because your soulmate is looking for you as well. So for everyone out there who's looking for their soulmate, this is, you have to believe that there is already a connection and you're tapping into that connection. You're communicating through your manifestations with your soulmate. And when you are dealing with your blocks, you're actually making it a lot easier for your soulmate to deal with his or her block, because they can be very similar. Soulmates often have very similar beliefs. You often are blocked in the same way, and that's why a lot of couples collide. So if you have a program that's negative and is creating maybe some kind of havoc in your life, there's a big chance that will stir up the same kind of problems and issues in the soulmate as well. So when you're dealing with this, it makes it so much easier for you to be with your soulmate without it being kind of like problematic all the time. So the 6 negative blocks, and most of us have one or more of these. It's a fear of abandonment. Oh, and you got the Hermit there. Now the Hermit is not a negative card at all. And the Hermit is a good card, but you know what? It's a 9 in numerology, and the 9 often feels a bit abandoned by original family. Or they feel very responsible for original family. So it could just be feeling a bit on the outside and feeling maybe not abandoned, but maybe feeling a bit like an outsider. And feeling that maybe you are a bit alone. So I would work on the abandonment actually as well, because it's almost like you have taken on the role as the responsible one, the one that helps others. And that puts you a bit on the outside looking in. And you're always the one guiding, helping, and you would have done this from a very early age, as a young child, most likely. And it can create a lot of loneliness in children when they take on that role. So I would work on the abandonment, even though the Hermit is actually not a negative card. No, the second card is fear of rejection. You might think, well, abandonment and rejection is the same. It's not, because rejection is when we feel like everyone will reject us. It's not abandonment as such. It's like friendships and with work and with everything, just people in general. We feel like someone's going to say something nasty. It's like when we expect nastiness, and that people will kind of reject us without even giving us a chance. And when there's been a lot of rejection in someone's life, they often are extremely stressed because they feel like they can't be themselves and they feel like they can't relax. They're expecting people to be mean to them. And that expectation can then create a lot of situations where people are actually acting out, or it's almost like that expectations create some kind of situation where you become like, the person that gets it all the time. Now you got the Knight of Swords there, and the Knight of Swords, even though again it's not a negative card, but the Knight of Swords, when you look at the personality, that is someone who has a bit of a nasty streak. So I would say that you have had some kind of experience, or you are very aware of that sort of side to people, where people are saying nasty things, where people will cut you off, where people will be very competitive, where people will, be ruthless. That side to people, you've seen it, you might have experienced it, and you're aware of it. So I would still make myself impervious to that energy, because I think it is affecting you as well. So deal with that one as well. It's not big issues for you, but it's something that you are very aware of that is there. Finances, you got Page of Cups. So finances is a block when we are manifesting a soulmate for financial reasons. So we want a rich partner, for example, someone to just take care of us. So people that have this one, then very rarely end up with their soulmate, because they're just looking for someone with will give them some kind of other opportunity. And even if your soulmate is super wealthy, you're still not tapping into the right energy when you're manifesting. So it's very hard to manifest your soulmate if you're looking for just someone who will look after you materially. Another block with finances is when you have no money, and you feel like you need to have money and that no one will want you unless you have money. So then that becomes a block. But you don't have this block, because Page of Cups is this is something that is not an issue for you, Ari. But for people that are doing this layout for themselves, have a look at this one. And if you see that you're manifesting a financial partner, then just have a look at the next one, which is safety, because you might have some issues there as well. Ari, you have no issues with safety. There is no block here, and safety is when we are kind of expecting some kind of disaster to happen. We're expecting some kind of betrayal. And when people are expecting that they can't be safe with somebody, or they're expecting someone to be really horrible to them, it could be for whatever reason, but then they usually then go for someone who will give them financial security instead, because they don't feel that anyone can ever offer them emotional security, or that they can really trust anyone, because they feel like they're just not safe with people. They have no trust in others. So you, Ari, you have no issues with that one. This is not for you, but just have a look at for everybody who's dealing with their safety issues, to clear that one, not to clear the finance one, because that doesn't mean that you're going to end up manifesting someone who has no money or whatever. It's just not the energy. That's not the motivation behind it. So when you're manifesting your soulmate, you get your soulmate, rather than someone that isn't your soulmate, that will just provide for you. The next one is self-love. So it's actually lack of self-love. So when there is no self-love, it's very hard to get a soulmate, because you can't even love yourself. So how can you be in a relationship? It's going to be very difficult. Now, you got 8 of Pentacles here. So I wouldn't say that it's a major issue for you. But just as with abandonment and rejection, you have... And it goes a little bit with the Hermit card, actually. You are someone who's very responsible. You feel very responsible for others. And you probably will sacrifice a lot of your own needs for other people's needs. So that's why you get 8 of Pentacles here. You're always working hard. And in relationships, I'm sure you're going to be very aware of the other person's needs. And that sometimes become more important than your needs. So I would still work on the self-love, because we can always improve on self-love anyway. Now, the last block is the deepest block. and it's possible. You got Ten of Swords, so that, it's very clear that this is where you need to begin your work. Now in the Soulmate course, you get what you need to pull and what you need to replace it with. When you get blocked in possible, then it's always because it serves a purpose. Okay, and all of the blocks serve something, but possible, it's always about, this with you could have been almost like an oath from a past life. I feel like it is on a soul level with you, so it's deep. Our programs can be, they can sometimes they don't go very deep and they're easy to pull, but when you get possible, that you don't think it is possible to have a soulmate. Maybe you think it's possible for other people, but maybe you don't think it's possible for you. And then there's been something has happened that made you feel like that person don't even exist. But with you, I feel very much it's like something happened in the past, and I feel like it's past life, where you learned that just wasn't gonna happen. And you kind of just almost like resigned yourself to that it was just not going to happen for you. Now, when we manifesting your soulmates, always start with this block if you get it, because that makes all the other blocks so much easier to deal with. Now, I feel like this Hermit one was the first one you got in abandonment, and this is, the Hermit is a 9 in numerology. When we get the 9, it's always about what's old, what is on our soul level, and often what is past life as well. So I would definitely think this is a past life oath. You might have been a priest or a priestess in a past life, and you made an oath to be alone. Or maybe you just lived a life in solitude, and that became sort of like in your soul. To live in solitude and just help others and be of service all the time. Remember the self-love, we got 8 of Pentacles, which is being of service to others. So it's all about knowing that you can, that you can receive love. So, and that it's possible for you to have it. So let's have a look. So once you remove those blocks, manifesting love will be so much easier. And you can always go back to that spread, because as life moves on, we often we adjust, you change those beliefs, you adjust, and then you can do that layout again and see if it has changed anything. And then you can keep working at your beliefs and keep doing affirmations as well, until you feel really clear, and then it's easy, it can happen straight away. So have a look at your soulmate layout now. Situation, you got Queen of Swords. So Queen of Swords, is someone who is very logical, but it's also someone who has been a bit scorned. Someone who has been a bit scorned, and maybe is now a little bit cynical. So it goes really well with what we saw in Ten of Swords. Maybe not believing it's going to happen for you. So it's almost like you have sort of, it's almost like you've kind of just accepted it almost. And this is this is on a subconscious level. So it gives you that energy of just going about your life, dealing with things, and not really expecting that anything's going to really change. And that is the situation. But once you're dealing with those blocks, this energy will change in you as well. The next card is how to attract a soulmate. You got the Justice card. Now the Justice card is an interesting card because again it's non-emotional, it's more logical again. So it's kind of Queen of Swords, it's a very logical person, it's a very logical card, but you might have, because Justice is all about balance, so you might have gone too much into the logic and need to go more into emotions. So it's almost like you're too far into, just going about your life in sort of a matter of fact kind of way, and they're saying you're too far into that. Now you need to balance yourself so that you're in the middle. You need to be in the middle between the, you're going maybe too much into, I guess with the Queen of Swords can be very cynical, but it's because of what she has witnessed, what she has seen. It's almost like something has taken her innocence away a little bit. So when you get the Justice card, it's just getting your balance back again. You need to meditate. You need to, whatever it is, will bring you back into sort of the more softer energy. So if you're very much in the left brain all day long, do something that will bring you into the right brain and will balance you so that you're in the middle. Because in the middle is where you need to be. The next card is what the seeker really wants. I got Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, again, is a very interesting card. It speaks of wanting a partner that's very attractive. So how your soulmate will look is going to be very important to you. So have a look at your expectations with the soulmate, and again, go into the possible here. You might have to have an open mind to who your soulmate is going to be, because when Page of Pentacles is showing up, it's like you want a very beautiful soulmate. You want a soulmate who's very, very beautiful. And you can, of course, have that. But if it's almost like when we're manifesting on a financial level, then that can kind of block the real soulmate coming in. Page of Pentacles, your soulmate will be the most beautiful person to you. So it's just saying to have an open mind. If you think you have like a type and you want to attract in that exact type, just open your mind a little bit so that you are connecting with your soulmate through the heart. Basically. The block, you got Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups, this has again got to do with the Ten of Swords as well, because when we don't think something is possible, what happens then? We can end up kind of living kind of in our heads or in our minds with our dreams and our desires being just like in our imagination or fantasies, because if you don't think something can happen for real, it's so much easier than to just have it, through our kind of imaginary world, which we all need. It's a beautiful place to be. But if we're there too much, then that becomes so comfortable for us, and maybe we rather have it here in our imaginary world than in the real world. Maybe we are afraid of being disappointed. So it's almost like that fear of that the person that you always wanted cannot be real. That person can't even exist. So you most likely have an idea of who your soulmate is. Now that can actually create a positive belief. Because this one here as well, it's like you might have had dreams or even had some kind of a connection with your soulmate where you have already seen your soulmate to be someone very beautiful, and also having a very beautiful relationship. And when you are then manifesting, maybe you feel like that person could not possibly be all those things. And that again goes straight into possible, not thinking that the person that you believe is your soulmate could not possibly exist. So just open your mind that person can, that person can even be better than what you could ever imagine. So I almost feel like you have had some kind of realization or some kind of visualization of the soulmate. And you believe it, and it would have happened through your imagination, which is also a very psychic way of communicating with your soulmate, and you have almost felt like that's almost like impossible. And it could be back to this one, rejection. We got Knight of Swords, having had that awareness of the nastiness that lives in people, in some people anyway, that you feel like that person that you've seen and connected with, you almost feel like that person can't be even real. But that is how sometimes our beliefs really can stop us, because we think, no, that person can't be real, so you manifest someone else instead. This person who you really want, that's the person that that you should aim for. Okay, you shouldn't sacrifice. Now still have an open mind, so that if your soulmate, with soulmates, the thing with soulmates is when you come together, you might not be at your very best, because the energy you bring together, the love, will actually have major changes within the body as well. So I've seen people before and after their soulmate relationships and how much their appearance changed. It is amazing how having that love in your life will change how you look. it's unbelievable. It's almost like there's been some kind of change almost on a genetic level. So the soulmate that you're connecting with will always become more of who you desire and who you want when that energy is combined with you, okay? Because that's a soulmate connection. The love actually, there's major changes in the physical. It always is. Now, if you're in a relationship that is very bad for you, you see the changes again, but then you see it in a different way. People are kind of deteriorating in the relationship rather than blossoming. Family and friend connection. You got 9 of Pentacles. So that tells me that your soulmate might not yet know, you might not yet have the same family and friend connections, but I do feel like there's a situation that you're going to be in where you're going to be with your soulmate. And it could be when you're in a very beautiful place. I feel like it is a place that's going to be the connection, not necessarily people or family, but definitely a place. And it's a place that's very connected to nature. How you will meet, and you got 3 of Wands, and then you said it came out reversed, but I want to read it this way. So 3 of Wands is an interesting card when it comes to how you will meet someone, because it has always got to do with communication, and it often has to do with an enterprise that you're involved in, some kind of a business. So you could be looking for expanding in a business idea of yours, and that's how you're going to meet. Now, I feel that the best thing you can do to manifest a soulmate, you got the Justice card here, so it can also be part of how you're going to meet. It's almost like you're putting together some kind of plan, some kind of idea, and it's going to take you to a place that is very beautiful, like it's almost like a sanctuary. And I feel like that's how you're going to actually meet the soulmate as well. So he's going to most likely connect with you through what you're doing. And it's something that you're very passionate about. It. If, let's say, because you said it fell out reverse like this. Even so, because with the reverse cards, we go back to the energy before to make it turn upright again. So the card before 3 of Wands is 2 of Wands. So that is the card when you are, you have the world in your hands and you're thinking about all of your ideas and how it's going to manifest in the world. So it's almost like while you're in that manifestation, but I feel like you've gone further into it, you're kind of in the middle of creating it, and that's when you're meeting the soulmate. And how you recognize your soulmate with 3 of Swords. So your soulmate most likely is most likely in rejection, okay? Your soulmate is in rejection, like what I said with here, you can feel on some psychic level, you can feel your soulmate's, issues as well, because you're always connected. So I feel like your soulmate is most definitely blocked in rejection, because your soulmate has gone through something that has been difficult. There's been some kind of rejection. But I feel like it has to do with, a belief system, or it's almost like a part of him felt like he couldn't be himself, like he had to change to sort of fit into something where he had to almost feel like he had to be someone else, and now he doesn't really know how to act in the sort of environment that he's in. So it could be a very competitive environment, a very sort of elitist environment, and I feel like it's not a very sort of creative environment, unfortunately, and I feel like it's making him a bit confused. So I feel like when you are going to meet, and that is sort of he's going to have a lot of pain in his eyes, because I feel like he hasn't been able to really communicate and express himself and be himself for a while, and it's making him confused about who he is, basically. Where your soulmate is 6 of Wands. So 6 of Wands, shows up when we're in an environment that is all about winning and being popular and being kind of seen and being sort of relevant. And that's kind of what I mean with, it might not be the best environment if you want to be it depends who you are as a person, but I feel like with your soulmate, nature and animals and and the environment, that is the most important thing. I think he's an outdoor person. He loves the outdoors, and if he can be outdoor, if he can connect with nature, if he can connect with I feel like he has a strong connection to animals, then that's when he's happy. Now that may or may not be where he is at the moment, because I feel like he's not around like-minded people. But I'm gonna have another look at location. I'm using a second depth for this. So let's have a look. So when you don't get location straight away, it could be that the person that you're asking about is on the move. So when you are doing this sort of work, and I'll teach you how to find location using the suit of cups, because you want to see how far away someone is by how similar program you have in the subconscious by the place where you grew up. So for example, I'm from Norway, so most of my childhood was sort of in that environment, so my subconscious got sort of programmed in that environment. So people would have this sort of similar beliefs on a history level, and as I have in that country. So you can use the suit of cups because the cups represent the subconscious. So you can actually use the suit of cups to see how far someone is away by how different, culturally the place is. But on a soul level, you can maybe be more compatible with a foreign place than where you grow up because of a past life connection. And Two of Cups shows up when you have a strong spiritual connection to a place that is different from where you actually are growing up. So I feel like your soulmate is also connected to that place, because that's the place that is showing up here in the cards. Two of Cups. Two of Cups is where it's almost like you have a love relationship with a place. And I feel like your soulmate is in that place. So you would know where that is, because that is a place where you feel very drawn to go. Okay? And it could be different from where you grew up. It just means a place where you feel like you could, you're in love with the place, basically. And that's where the soulmate is. And that is why we got a place rather than a person in family and friend connection. We got Nine of Pentacles, which is that beautiful place that you love. The next card is when will we meet? Now, when you deal with the blocks and you remove them, then the timing of event will change. But King of Cups shows up here to tell you that once you have removed that you don't think something is possible, and maybe you believe that your soulmate isn't possible, maybe you feel like that person is not gonna exist because maybe what you've seen in people haven't always been the best, so you think that person that is your soulmate can't truly, that person, there's no way that person's gonna be real. Once that you change that belief, you are entering into King of Cup energy, and King of Cup is a fantastic energy to be in. And you can see how different that energy is from Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords to King of Cups. So the changes within you will go from Queen of Swords, to Queen of Cups. So they are as far away from each other as they could be on the scale when it comes to emotional well-being. Queen of Swords escapes in her head because that's where she feels safe. But King of Cups is very much living from the heart. Okay? So this is, when you are your own best friend, that's the energy you're in when you are connecting with your soulmate. So that's how you feel about yourself, basically. And who is your soulmate? You got Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords connects very well with the Three of Swords that we saw in how you recognize your soulmate, because there is, your soulmate for whatever reason is not feeling that he completely can be himself in the environment that he is now. Because I feel like when I tune in on your soulmate, all I want to do is I want to be outside. I want to be in nature. I want to be where there's wilderness, I just want to be outside all the time. So for whatever reason, I feel like your soulmate now is unable to maybe completely live out that part of him, or even if he does, maybe feel like he can't share it with anybody because there might not be other people interested in what he's interested in. So let's just have a look at more. Because all I want is freedom to connect with nature. That's what I feel when I connect with your soulmate. I feel it very strongly. And I feel like that's when he feels like he can really be himself as well. I'm going to ask for more information about the soulmate, and it's always a good idea to have a second deck. Once you're doing this layout, you put out one card per position, but maybe in certain card positions you want more information, especially in the 10th position. Who is the soulmate? Okay, so here we got, he's currently sort of working himself up through the organization that he's working in. So he's kind of at the, he's sort of the structure of the company, and he wants to, work himself up. So he's putting a lot of effort in when it comes to what he wants to achieve in career. And he thinks it may be taking him a bit longer than what he thought it would. And he also has maybe some financial questions, as in, will he be able to, because with Eight of Swords as well, sometimes people really want the lifestyle, and they sometimes question if they have enough and if they're secure enough to have the lifestyle that they desire. When you get Wheel of Fortune sort of crossing here, then he's on the right track, but he just feels like things could go a bit quicker and faster in his direction. The best thing he can do is to focus on what he's doing, and I feel like he could work in some kind of, this King of Swords often shows up when people are working in law and order and in the legal world, and they're connected in that way. And it's a very intellectual card as well, where you're dealing with, facts, and you're dealing with regulations and law, and you have to be careful where you what you step into and things like that. And that's the energy where he's sort of heading in his, and I feel like that's very much to do with his career. And that is sort of also where I feel like he's kind of in that competitive environment where everybody wants to get ahead, and then he maybe feel like his individuality is kind of suffering a little bit in that energy, basically. His subconscious programming, this is sort of, he will be able to manifest you, I feel, far quicker than you will be able to manifest him. But then when you're working on your programs and your beliefs, you'll be able to manifest him just as quick. Now, I feel like he has very much the right kind of beliefs to be able to be with you, because he will recognize you immediately. You get the Lovers in the subconscious, so there will be an immediate recognition once he sees you. So he most likely will approach you before you approach him. Currently, he's kind of just in waiting mode. You get Four of Swords in sort of the recent past with him. He's resting. He's just sort of taking it all in. He's just basically waiting. He's just waiting. But he's looking for you as well. In his future, I get Two of Cups. So that means that you will meet soon. I do really feel like it's not much longer to wait now. Because I do get this Two of Cups in the future position. Now we're getting more information about him. So this is energy that he's in, because he's manifesting you and looking for you as much as you are manifesting him. Three of Pentacles. Here he is again working in a team, and it is a team where you have to kind of know what you're doing. I feel like he has to have I feel like he's studied for this, and I feel like his training is kind of ongoing as well to be able to do what he does. Queen of Pentacles, this is sort of future partner. Now, if you're single and you're doing the Celtic Cross, your future partner will show up in the 8th position. So here you are showing up, Ari, in his future partner position. The world is sort of something unexpected happening in his life, so that could be connecting with another part of the world. or even possibly moving. Okay, and I feel like he could be moving. I get the death card here. That means that basically when you get what he's sort of currently in, feeling stuck, feeling that he can't really completely be himself, and then he wants to change that. He needs some kind of major transformation in his life. Also get the Chariot with Page of Wands. Now I feel like he's someone who likes to talk freely, to communicate. I think he has a lot of passion, and I feel like he needs to go where he can be more himself. And I feel like he's definitely he could enter into your environment, because I feel like he's on the move. He wants to travel. He wants to live where he can be free to basically express himself. So where he currently is and where you might meet could be different, but I feel like where he is now, you have some kind of connection to that place as well. Okay, so you'll be able to understand that place really, really well. And you would be able to live in that place as well. And if that place is where you are from, that means that you have a soul connection with the country that you live in. But for a lot of people, that place could also be a different place. But he will come into the environment where you feel like this place, you really love this place. This is an oasis of a place. It's a beautiful place, basically. And with your soulmate also, I feel like he is very connected to nature. Very much connected to nature. Destiny relationship, get the Star. So whatever you've gone through, you've both been through stuff. You keep the learning, but you let go of the anguish and whatever was. And I feel like for him especially, whatever was in the past will be in the past. And there will be a completely new beginning where everything will just be brighter. Things will be better. Things will be better than what it has been. Now you also got the bottom card being, I think you said it was Knight of Wands. I'm just going to double check because I got your cards here on my phone. Let me check. I think you said it was Knight of Wands. So that is, the bottom card it gives you more information, and it's adventure, basically. It will be an adventure. And it will never be a dull moment, basically. So the Star basically will connect you, and life will be more interesting. You will be want to connect with the world more. You want to connect with basically the world becomes kind of like whatever it was before. Once you're together, the world will look completely different. So what used to maybe be able to get you down, or even maybe get you a bit depressed about the state of the world or whatever, you'll have a completely new perspective once you're with the soulmate. And everything looks a bit brighter, a lot brighter actually. And you realize that with love, a lot of the suffering and, it just goes away, and the mundane becomes the most interesting because you get to share it with the person you really love and care about. So I really love reading for you, Ari, and I'm so excited for you. I really, really am, and I can't wait to hear more about your soulmate. Once you remove the blocks, let me know how you go with the timing of events, because there's no point really doing the timing of events before you remove the blocks, because the removing of the blocks will change the timing of events. Sometimes it will be the same, but only when it's really set in stone. For a lot of us, we're co-creating and changing our beliefs and our minds about things, and it actually changes, it changes our manifestations as well. And things that we were pushing away, we can have a lot sooner. So let me know how you go with the timing of events. Bye!